Hello language learners, welcome back to our channel. In our previous video, we learned about the purpose and the function of the auxiliary verbs to be, to have and to do. We discussed how these verbs play a crucial role in expressing various tenses and voices and how they help us to form questions, to form negatives and to make sentence clearer in different contexts, right? But that's not all. In today's video, we are going to dive even deeper into the world of auxiliary verbs. We will explore how these verbs can also express different moods in English. Yes, mood. So, what exactly when we say mood? Well, mood refers to the form a verb takes to show how it should be regarded. Whether is it a fact or is it a command or is it a wish or a hypothetical situation? We will cover everything you need to know. By the end of this video, you will understand how auxiliary verbs are used to express mood and we will walk through clear examples together. Ready? Let's get started. Let's talk about mood in English. So, in the context of grammar, mood is the way verbs express the attitude of the speaker towards a particular action. We have three primary moods we use in English. The first one is indicative. So, when it comes to indicative, it always states a fact or asking a question. And the next one is imperative. Imperative means which could express an order or a command. And the third one is subjunctive. So this subjunctive mood expresses a wish or it could be a suggestion or something that is not a fact. So let's break this down one by one and see how auxiliary verbs like to be and to do come into play. First, we'll start with the indicative mood. This is the most common mood we use in English, and it simply states a fact or asking a question. Think of it as just describing what's happening, something that is real or factual. So, when we want to express a fact, we always use the auxiliary verb to be in its different tense forms. For example, Paris is the biggest city in France. Here, we are stating a fact about Paris, right? And when it comes to the next question type, why is Paris the biggest city in France? It's just a question, right? But we are still using to be. But now we are asking for an explanation about Paris. Let's look at another example using to do in the indicative mode. I do my homework every night. So here we are talking about a routine, a fact about what I do on regular basis. Now, I want you to think for a second. Can you think of another example where you use the indicative mood? Maybe something about your own routine or a simple fact you know to be true. Drop them in the comments. And the next one is imperative mood. This one is all about giving orders or commands. So, if you want to tell someone to do something, you are likely using the imperative mood. In this mood, we use the auxiliary verb to do, but there is no subject because the subject is always applied. It's you. Here are some examples. Don't touch the stove. Do your homework. Be home at 6 p.m. See how we are directly giving commands in each of these examples. The verb is used in its base form. If you see the base forms of the verb do or be. Now let's make things a bit more polite. So we can add please to soften the command and make it sound more like a request. Please do your homework. What do you think happens when we add please? It sounds less like a strict order and more like a friendly request, right? Now, it's your turn. Can you think of a situation where you might ask someone to do something politely? Try to come up with the sentence in the imperative mode. Finally, we have the subjunctive mode. This one is a bit more complex because it's used to express wishes, suggestions, or hypothetical situation, things that are not necessarily facts. In the subjunctive mood, we often use modal verbs, but for today, we are just focusing on one key verb. to be. Got it? In the subjunctive mood, we often see auxiliary verb to be used in a specific form. Let's look at few examples. It's important that he be here on time. So this sentence expresses a wish or a suggestion that it's necessary for him to be there on time. And the next example, if I were you, I would take a break. Here, it's a hypothetical situation, something that is not real, but we are imagining it, right? You have to notice something interesting about these examples. In the subjunctive, we use the verb to be in a slightly different way. The first example, we say he be instead of he is. And in the second example, we say I were instead of I am, right? So this is where subjunctive mood can feel a little tricky because it's not about reality. It's about imagining or wishing for something. So tell me, how would you finish the sentence? If I were a superhero, I would. Try to finish the sentence and drop them in your comments. Let's quickly recap everything we have learned today. The indicative mood is used for stating facts or asking questions. Example, Paris is the biggest city. And the imperative mood is used for commands or orders. And the subjunctive mood is used for wishes, suggestions, or hypothetical situations. Now, before we end, I want you to take a moment to think about these three moods. Can you come up with one sentence for each mood? Try to use the verbs to be and to do in each one. I hope this video has helped you understand how auxiliary verbs are used to express different moods in English. Remember, the mood of a sentence can completely change how we express things like facts, commands, wishes, or hypothetical situations. Keep practicing and don't be afraid to experiment with these modes in your daily conversations. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on more grammar tips and tricks. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or examples you would like to share. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.